Hello, everybody,
Hello.
and happy Merry December.
I like that.
Happy Merry December.
And we both did not coordinate this, but we're both wearing our festive outfits today.
I know, little gingerbread man.
I feel like you're, as the kids say, you're giving elf helping put the gifts together, and I'm giving like refined Mrs. Claus.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Which goes right in line with our topic perfectly today, which is giving the perfect gift. That
The
wasn't
best
exactly.
gift isn't under the tree. Close enough. Same difference.
The best gift is not under the tree. It
No.
could be the best gift, like physically, but we're talking about something that is much more substantial, meaningful, and longer lasting today.
Mhm.
The best gift isn't under the tree. Matter of fact, the best gift comes from the heart
Hmm. That's what
and
they
the
say.
soul.
That's
Yeah.
what they say.
So I am Michelle with Moksha Grace Coaching. Thank you for joining us today on Moment of Presence. And
I'm co host Krista Barone. Thank you for joining us. We're excited to talk about this today and really have a fun time this whole holiday season. Wow, I'm taking a page from your book with the fun, fun, fun. A fun time this holiday season. Really doing a little bit of a play on words here starting today.
right. Because the holidays really, I mean, life really is made to be fun. And guess who decides and controls that it's not going to be fun? We do. So this show really is for those control freaks. I'm a survivor of being a control freak. Um,
That would say that you're not one anymore. So
I don't feel that I'm a control freak anymore.
in certain things, I think we all have our moments.
I was gonna. Oh, look! See, I even have the little
Ah,
tiny.
there you go.
Um, I feel like we all have controlling tendencies, and no matter what we do to turn them off, uh, they're still there.
Yeah.
We are who we are. There's beliefs and there's things that we've accumulated over the years since we've been born as new bright shiny souls, that we've accumulated that we can either choose to hang on to or we can choose to let go of, which is exactly what we're talking about today, is letting go of things that don't belong to us, which seems counterindicative of the title because it's gift giving, but letting go and not trying to control someone else is actually a gift for them and for you.
Well, gee, Michelle, do explain.
I'm sure you don't have an example of any of this either.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm going to need you to say a bit more.
So today I'm going to share a little bit of a personal story, but for the full story, you're going to have to subscribe to the email that we have. We do not spam you. I only send out emails when I think it's super, super important and it's a great topic. And I worked on today's story, making sure that it was like uh, to the point and very, uh, there's a lot of vulnerability in there.
Mm.
We can't go over it in a whole show because, we try to keep these to 20-30 minutes. I know sometimes we run long, but anyway, there was a time, a specific moment in my life that changed a lot about wanting to control things. And, as a mom, all the moms out there, parents out there, I know you'll get this. You create this beautiful, amazing little baby, and we just want to make sure that our kids, that our family members are safe always. And we can do that up to a point. but then it becomes their journey. And so this is about me in a moment where I realized that a family member's journey was their journey and not mine. And so I was having just a lot of issues. I was very stressed. My mind was always thinking about this family member. I was always concerned. I was always looking out, uh,
Analyzing everything.
analyzing their every move. What are they doing? Where are they going? Just really being a helicopter family member. Is that a good way to put that?
Yeah.
And it was coming in between me and the family member and turning it into, I think, a tenser situation. And so me on one hand going, well, I don't want to do or say anything that's going to cause them to go down the wrong path where they've already been but now they're coming back from. But yet my concern and my trying to over control the situation was actually doing exactly what I was afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did I figure this out? It wasn't on my own. Uh, I had a coach that asked me, like, what's going on? Like, tell me about the situation. And as I was telling her about the situation, uh, she asked me a question. And she said, so whose choices, whose responsibility is this situation? And I was like, I I mean, it's theirs. It's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
But yet I felt like I wanted to be protective and try to help them make the right choice.
Mm.
And she said something very uh, perspective shifting for me, which was, so you're trying to control them. You're taking away their freedom of choice. Therefore, what are you doing to their experience and them learning a lesson? And I was like, ouch. Like
Mm.
that, it was like cold water being like thrown in your face.
Yeah.
And we don't think about it that way because we think that we're protecting and we're, trying to help and we're trying to uh, make it easier for people to make better choices. But in the end, is it our choice to even make?
Mm.
No.
Yeah. Right off the bat, it reminds me of that scene in Friends where Ross marries Emily, and he says the wrong name at the altar, and fast forward later in the episode or the next episode, whatever it is, she's on the phone from her house in England. She goes, "Well, I'll feel much better once I live in New York, and I can be and like see where you are."
Krista's gone, but she's
I don't know
back.
what happened. I'm back. And Ross is like, "Well, you can't know where I am all the time. Like it doesn't work like that."
Hmm.
It reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah, and that's a really good point because this isn't just uh, a mother or a father or about kids. This is about all relationships. This could be employee, right? Micromanaging. This could be about love, right? A relationship, a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be trust and there's got to be faith.
Yeah.
And if trust is lost, and that can happen, then you've got to fall back on faith that whatever is meant to be rebuilt will be rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't force it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what was so hard for me to understand but in that moment, that was that realization. And so what was interesting, and I go through this much more deeply in the email, and it's not a long story, but it's not short either, because there were very poignant moments that I wanted to capture. But one of the exercises was to go out and pick up the heaviest rock that I could potentially pick up. And I did. And I'll talk about this. I'll talk about it here a little bit, but in the email it goes much deeper. But I hold this rock, and the rock symbolizes how I picked up a burden that was not mine to carry.
Mm-hmm.
And so what she had me do was literally hold on to that rock and think of the situation, like really think about the choices that I was making to insinuate myself into the situation. And as my arms started shaking and I was in so much pain,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "Oh, no, no, no. Hold that rock longer." And I'm like, "But it's shaking." Nope, hold it longer. And really feel it, because you can't always just tell somebody something, right? You can't say, like, "Oh, you're wrong," or "That's not the truth," or "You shouldn't do that." Sometimes you have to show them so that they can, or make sure they're in a situation where they can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you, I was feeling the rock. It was cutting into my arms. My arms were shaking. And she said, "Are you ready to put the rock down?" And I was like, "No, I want to hold it longer," because I was afraid to let it go. Because then what does that mean? I'm letting go of control. I'm going to have faith that everything's going to be fine. Like, it's a big decision, right? To put that down. But on the other hand, it was doing such damage to me, my body, my arms.
Wait, are we still talking about the rock, or did I miss the part where you connected the two?
No, I didn't connect the two yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I kind of did, but the rock is the burden. And so I finally looked at the rock and I was like, I have faith that it's going to be fine. It's going to work out exactly the way that it's meant to. And this is not my burden to carry anymore. And I moved my feet out of the way, made sure, and I dropped the rock. And the rock is right outside the office. I know where the rock is. And if I just, and I walk by it sometimes when I feel like I'm going to pick up control that isn't mine, burdens that aren't mine, worries that aren't mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that experience of my arm shaking and what that meant. So to tie this all in a nice little gift wrap bow, releasing the burden and letting go of that control not only gave me freedom, but it allowed that person, my loved one, to then have the freedom to be them.
Mm-hmm.
They were not trying to prove themselves to me. They didn't have to do anything to make themselves better for me. They were doing it for them.
Mm-hmm.
And who was I to put myself in the middle of that?
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't mine to do.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but when you're holding on to things very firmly, it also prevents, well, it prevents the person from living out their experience the way that they're supposed to, but it also prevents opportunities from coming in. I know, I don't even remember the last time we talked about this, but back when I was vegan, I wanted everyone in the house to go vegan. And I was constantly pushing it on everybody of like, you should try this. You should try this. It's really good. It's really good. See, you could be vegan. And then I got to a point where I was like, I'm tired of this, man. I'm just going to make my food. I'm not going to worry about making extras because I keep throwing all these leftovers away. I'm just going to cook for myself and let it go. And that's that. And literally the first time I made dinner in like a 2-portion amount for me and on a leftover, what do you know? Oh, wow, Krista, that smells really good. Can I have some of that? I didn't say anything beforehand. I didn't say anything. Oh, Krista, what are you making? Oh, I'm just making this thing. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, wow, that smells really good. Thank you. Can I have some? Okay, sure. Because now I only made 2 portions, but sure, I'm not going to turn you down. Maybe it'll convert you over. The ironic thing is I'm no longer vegan, but it's, a smaller kind of everyday life example. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the other one that still hasn't quite worked in my favor yet, but I've talked about it before, is you doing dishes. You refuse to put the cups on the thing meant to help dry the cups. You put them right on the thing, on the drying mat, which means all of the, it humidifies and all the liquid doesn't come out. And it drives me freaking crazy. And every time I saw you doing the dishes, I'd be like, can you please do this correctly? And then I finally said, you know what? I have much bigger fish to fry. I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
And does it still drive me crazy? Yeah, occasionally, and I'll go over and fix it. But that's me. I let it go for the most part. I move on. I'm not going to let it drive me crazy. And I'm not going to let it drive a wedge between our relationship, because you don't want to use a cup dryer, even though it would really make such a difference. But anyway.
I have been using it more often, but we don't have to get into that now. The 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 purpose here is to give this gift because you want better for yourself and you want better for the other person. And it's not just about the control. It's also about the expectations that you're putting on someone else, and not just the experience, because you mentioned that, but the lessons that the experience is bringing that person that you're now robbing them of, because you're trying to control what they learn, how they learn it, and how they apply it,
Yeah.
which is none of our business. So, the one thing that comes to mind is um and we'll use something that's very holiday-ish, that most people have some have relation to this.
Land your plane, woman.
Sorry. When someone shows up late, right? When you're having a holiday dinner and they show up late, always, every single time they show up late. And it's like, do they just not care? Do they think they're on their own time? Like, we had dinner ready, like everything was prepared. Like, they just show up when they want to, and they waltz in and they waltz out, and it's like, huh. So we get to have a choice of, are we going to allow that to ruin the whole evening or day or experience of coming together as a family or friends? I mean, it could be a friendship. Are you going to allow that to ruin everything? Are you going to try to fix that person and like lecture them and try to tell them that they need to be more like you and on time and do exactly what you do?
I don't recommend that.
No, because if you truly love somebody, you love them for who they are. Good, bad, and indifferent. You love them. And if you are trying to put your expectations on them, you're judging them. You're claiming that they must be wrong and you're right. So you're putting yourself like in a hierarchy, right? Like, you're better. Um, And if it's just them, it's just them. And so if you know they're always going to be late, then tell them the dinner's a half hour earlier, or have the plate at the table and just start eating anyway, and just let them know, like, I know you're going to be late. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I don't know that I would recommend even saying that, because that
no, you don't
also
have to do that either. But just be yourself and let other people be themselves, and accepting that, and accepting each other for who they are, and knowing who someone else is the gift that keeps on giving. Because then they're going to show you more of who they are. They're not going to walk in with a chip on their shoulder because they're expecting you to yell at them for being late. They're going to be more relaxed. You're going to be more relaxed. Because whose joy is it really stealing?
and
When,
honestly,
yeah,
you
go.
could totally make it into a joyous thing for you by just making an inside joke with the rest of your family, like we do. We know some people that tend to be late chronically, and so now it's just a running joke where, oh, let's see how late they're going to be this year, or, well, we know they're showing up 20 minutes late. Let's keep those things in the oven warming, or, we all know this at this point. We know it. So why
Mhm.
are we going to let it bother us? So we just
Right.
kind of make it fun. We make a joke of it, not at their expense. We're not going to say it to their face, but it gives us a reason to kind of chuckle a little bit before we have
Yeah.
dinner or lunch or whatever it is that we're doing.
Well, and it lightens the mood.
Yeah.
It lightens the mood and it totally changes it.
Mhm.
So instead of trying to manage someone or fix them or change them, you just believe in them and you just have faith in them. You just love them.
Well, and here's the thing I think that's really easy is let's just keep with the example of someone being late. It's really easy if our lens of life and the world is maybe on the critical side, maybe on the judgmental side, maybe on the not a very open-minded side. If someone is consistently late, our mind probably at least at first goes to, well, they obviously don't respect me enough if they can't be on time. Or, well, obviously they're such a mess up, a different word for that,
Mhm.
that they can't manage their time properly. And we get this air of entitlement and superiority and, well, I'm better than this person because I'm never late. When in reality, the other thing we could look at it as is, oh, wow, they have a really hard time keeping track of their schedule. Wow, they must be so busy with the kids and the grandkids and the sister and the whoever that they just totally lost track of time. Wow, you know what? This must be really hard for them to get to places on time
Mhm.
because of everything going on. Let me make it a little bit easier and let them know 30 minutes early so that way they can better plan it into their day. Two very different energy resonances there, and it literally is entirely dependent on your worldview. Same thing when people say things to you. The way your boss says something to you, one day you may take to be they are the biggest asshole in the world. The next day, because you woke up really good and had a great morning, oh, no problem. They're just straightforward in their communication.
Mhm.
So dependent on your lens.
Right. And the other thing is that the choices that people make, again, are their choices. So whether it's they smoke cigarettes or they have an addiction or they don't show up at all, right? We know people that do that. You can invite them, but they don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
You can either waste your time and your joy on being mad and frustrated and upset, or you can go, okay, well, now I have time to do this, or now I can go over here and I can do something that I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
or just be adaptable and flexible. Is it not exactly nice when people don't show up? Yeah, it is, but you don't know what happened. So stop making assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the addictions or the smoke, whether whatever it is, it could be addiction to shopping. Um, Whatever that is, you don't know what's going on that's creating that need for them. And until you understand that, and that's not meaning that you should harp on them to tell you, because that's not right either. They'll open up to you when they feel they can trust you, but it's not going to be because you keep nipping at their heels to get
Yeah.
information out of them. Trust me. I know. Um, it'll all come out when it's supposed to. And all you can do sometimes is listen and be there, not try to walk the path for them, dragging them along. I'm going to fix you, but just sitting with them quietly and letting them know that you're there if they ever want to talk. That can go a heck of a lot farther than the expectations and the drilling. Um, Relationships are about give and take, but it's also about being in a present moment and just
Mm-hmm.
enjoying what they have to give at that moment.
Absolutely. And taking the pressure and the expectation off of them so that they want to come over. They want to be with you. They want to come to the holidays. They want to enjoy
Yeah.
time with you versus feeling like it's going to be such a chore to be around you and vice versa.
Yeah. Well, and I've shared that story before about, when my mom was around, I would get to the point when we were not getting along and I'd be like, "Oh, I should call my mom." And when I felt that way and I made the phone call, the calls would be so bad and we would get into an argument about something. But when I held off a couple hours or even a day when it became like, I want to talk to my mom. And I called then, the conversation was way better. And our relationship started healing when I was doing things out of because I wanted to versus I should. And it
Mhm.
was an obligation and I had to. Because then that brought in resentment and, then you are carrying the burden and the guilt and the shame that comes with all of that.
Yeah.
Just do things because you want to. And if you don't want to go somewhere, then don't. But you could call and just let someone know, like, I'm not feeling it. And if
Mhm.
they don't understand, guess what? That's on them. It's not on you.
Yeah.
And that's another really hard part for people to understand.
Yes, and the other side of this coin that I just want to touch on because it is the holiday season and I see a lot of
It's the
this.
holiday season.
It's the holiday season, do do do. Is we tend to, I feel like my generation and younger tend to very much look at things like, well, I don't want to do that, so I'm just not going to go. But then when our version of whatever that event or gathering or whatever it is, when people don't show up, we get upset and we get annoyed and we get frustrated. And I think there's a very fine line between having a really solid, genuine reason for not going or doing something and just not being in the mood. It's easier. I'm just not feeling it today. You can't not show up for others and expect others to show up for you. And I
Mhm.
think that's a very fine line that's not being.
We lost her again. And now she's back again.
I don't know why that. I don't know why that keeps happening. But I think that's a very fine line and something that's not talked about enough because we tend to, like, I know I'm guilty of it. People have invited me places and I'm like, I just don't want to go. Even in situations where it's like
Mhm.
someone really needs the support. I'm not feeling it today. I can't expect that back if I'm not willing to give it to somebody else.
It's a really good point. And all of these things go back to knowing who you are inside and listening from within and getting curious and asking the questions like why was I carrying that burden? Well, because I felt some guilt, I felt some shame, I felt like it was my responsibility. And it took someone else to just ask me a couple questions that I wasn't asking myself because I was probably afraid of the answers. Because, oh my gosh, does that mean I'm not needed? Does that mean that it doesn't matter what I think?
Hmm.
Like that person is just going to do what they want. And what if they make the wrong choice? And then I have to clean up the mess again? Again, that's another choice that I have to make. Am I willing to clean up someone else's mess? And if I am, then own it. But these are all questions that I would not have thought to ask myself back then. And that's why I think it's so important. And that's why I wanted to bring this up is like, ask yourself the questions. Am I being asked to do this or am I insinuating or myself into the situation? Am I assuming?
Injecting yourself.
Right. Am I expecting something in return? Am I doing something because I want something back?
Has this person actually asked for my help, thoughts, opinions, guidance?
Exactly. Advice. Yeah. All of that. And if you don't stop and pause, moment of presence, and bring yourself into that and ask the questions and listen for the answer. Don't just ask the questions and then do it anyway. You got to listen to the answer, give yourself that extra pause. Then you can proceed very clearly with why you're doing it, what's the reason, and if it's only for you, then that's not the reason to do it. If
Hmm.
it's because you love the person, if you're giving them their space and you're just there to support and walk with them, not try to change their course unless you're asked, then, again, these are the answers from the questions you have to ask yourself.
Hmm.
And for those chronically late people, you can ask yourself, why am I always late? Why do I put myself in that situation? Why do I continually do that when I know that people get worried? Where am I? Am I okay? Did I get, God forbid, a car accident? Like, what happened? Why am I doing that? But that's something that they have to learn to do. And they have to ask those questions. You can't tell people, like, you really should start getting curious about yourself. But you can share out this video.
You can ask a loaded question. Well, not a loaded question, but a question.
Yeah.
I'm curious. XYZ. I'm curious. Have you considered XYZ?
May I ask you?
I was just about to say, can I ask you a question?
Seriously.
Are you open for feedback?
Seriously.
Are you
I just want to know.
Are you open to questions about this? May I inquire more?
How about, does it even bother them? Maybe it doesn't even bother them that they're late. And if that's the case, then why are you letting it bother you? Why are you bothered by it?
Because you're assuming that they don't have enough respect for you to show up on time. You're assuming that it has some sort of personal dig to you, when in reality it has literally nothing to do with you.
Right.
Even if someone has a direct problem with you, completely separate from them being late, if they say, well, you are just a pile of poo and I don't like you, that has nothing to do with you either. I know it sounds like it does, but it actually has nothing to do with you. Nothing has anything to do with any of us.
And I do want to mention this because I think it's funny. There are those people that know that there are certain things that bug you, and they're the type of person that they are doing it because they're trying to
Oh,
get
yeah.
you.
We know a few
And
of those.
you get to decide, because you are in control of how you respond to the situation. Are you going to give them exactly what they're expecting, which is you to get upset, you to ruin your day, because maybe that's just the type of person they are, because there are those people out there? Or are you going to choose to just be like, oh, cool, you're here, your plate's in the microwave? Like, it's just, we
Oh,
went
you're here. Everything's on the island. Go ahead and grab yourself a plate. Grab a spot where you find it.
we went ahead without you. Glad you could join us for a little bit. Oh my gosh. And a lot of people will say, these are the narcissistic people that are out there that kind of do these types of things. And if they want to be a narcissist and they don't want to ever change, that's on them. You cannot change other people. So stop trying to. It's not your place. It is not your journey. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. It is not your journey. This life is yours. Worry about what you're doing. Stop looking at everyone else. Stop worrying about everyone else. Worry about you. Keep yourself in the good, joyful mood, however you want to be, however you are. Stop focusing on the negative. Focus on the positive, the good, the people that did show up, the people that you are surrounded by, and the love that you have for yourself. That's the best gift. And
Put that in a box and wrap it.
that's right. And you don't even have to carry it around. So why don't we take a couple deep breaths, ground ourselves into the moment. So big deep breath in or shallow breath, whatever is good for you.
Or yawn.
Yawn, that's good too. And then just exhale. This is a perfect time to be thinking about all this because it is the full moon, the last full moon of the year. And you can write everything that you're leaving behind, write it down, and then you can burn it tonight in a safe place, please. Deep breath in. And just release those feelings that you're carrying around, the guilt or the burdens. They're not yours. Exhale. And just breathe in. And is there anything else that can be addressed that you can leave behind that you're ready to let go of? Just exhale slowly. Giving the gift of freedom and no expectations is really giving the gift of freedom on both sides. I don't have to behave a certain way to feel like I'm loved, and I don't have to love you only if you act a certain way. Dropping that, dropping judgment, oh God, so freeing. And if you don't believe me, you go pick up a rock, a heavy rock, the heaviest you can hold on to it, think about all those old beliefs, all of those old feelings, the what you're still upset about from 5 years ago. Carry that rock, walk around with it, think about all those things. And then you make the conscious decision whether you're going to put it down or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, keep that rock where you're going to see it every day, because you will never forget the feeling that it gives you. So don't forget, join the email list and you will get the full Deeper Story. I will be sending that out today. And if you need help, if you need guidance, if you feel like you want to reach out and just talk, that's what we're here for. Book a call. That it can be just a call. Just reach out. That's why we're here. That's why we do this. So, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Everything else that goes with it. We're going to be back next week anyway, but just in case you're not here, be kind to yourself. Be graceful and be kind to others and be patient.
And join the email list below at mokshagrace.com/.
Yeah, that too. Remember, the way we have control is we control ourselves. That's all we can control. And when we wake up every morning, we get to make a decision. Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? Again, it's your choice. Choose wisely. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.